Alright, welcome back everyone. In this video we're going to start reading some values from our spreadsheet. We'll start by reading this title here from our summary page. If you go to this URL, there are some useful information here. So our first step is to install this dependency here. It says 27, but you can just go ahead and install the latest. So let me copy that and open up a terminal. We have to go into our functions directory and paste. I'm going to replace this with latest. So in order to use the library, we first have to add this line in our script. So let me open up the index.js. I'm going to insert it here. So before using the API, let's just look at here. In the last video, if you remember, we added these to-do tags, read spreadsheet ID and authorization token from the Firestore. So in our Firestore, we uploaded the authorization token for the spreadsheet API and also the spreadsheet ID. As you can see here, this is the same as our actual spreadsheet ID. They are in our Firestore, but we have to retrieve them first. So in order to get these values, we're going to do something similar to that. Let me delete those. And instead of this long statement, we can just do that db.doc config token. Of course, this returns a promise. Let me call this token promise. And also, let's do the same for spreadsheet. So since these two are independent from each other, we can use the promise all function to wait for both of those to finish and then continue. So we pass an array of promises to this function, so token promise and spreadsheet promise, and we call then results. And this has to also return a promise. So let me add the return statement now, 0 for now. And also I have to return here. Actually, let me copy this one here instead of return 0 and delete this console log. Now I can use the results of these promises. We can access the token and the spreadsheet like this. Const token is equal to results, the first element, data, and spreadsheet ID is equal to results 1, data, and ID. Because the key of the spreadsheet ID is just ID. And then I have to create my client is equal to Google auth token client ID and token client secret. Then set credentials token, and finally I can get the object to access my spreadsheet. Const sheets is equal to Google sheets v4. And to access some cells from our spreadsheet, we can do this. Spreadsheets values get, and here we specify our spreadsheet ID, sheet ID, auth is client, and finally I have to specify the range. The range means where to read the values from. So for example, December 2018. So my range will be B8 to E9. Also, I have to give the sheet ID, which is summary. So let's write that. Summary B8 E9 and get error and result. Now we have to handle the error here. If error console error else console log result. Let me fix the indentation here. Oh, actually, we have to convert this into a promise because this call is asynchronous and we cannot return the result right away. So let me turn this into a promise. Return new promise resolve reject, and then copy these in here and replace these lines with resolve and reject. So if error reject error and else resolve result. Now since we're returning a promise, we have to call the then function of this promise all function result, and here we can log the result and return our success code here, and finally catch console error, and this should be it. Let me serve my functions and test. Alright, the functions are ready. So I'm gonna test this transaction function using my post script. If you remember, we created it in the last video. So I'm gonna test it like this: Python post local transaction, and as an argument I'm gonna pass trello-JSON. This file contains an example webhook request body. As you can see here, it contains the type of event which triggered this webhook and so on. Anyway, let me try that. Oh, I have to change my directory. Type error cannot be invoked without new. So there should be a new keyword. And again. Actually, I only need this one. So let me modify my console log here. Data, values, and row and column. These both are 0 because this counts as a single cell. Let me try once more. Okay, as you see here, it prints the title of our spreadsheet. So this is it for today. We're going to continue building this transaction function. We have to read from the other sheet, transactions, in order to see how many existing entries we got and determine which row to insert our new transaction. And of course, we have to add new functionality to insert cells as well. So see you in the next video. Take care.